And joining me now, we have Reverend Al Sharpton, civil rights leader, National Action Network founder, and of course, host of MSNBC's Politics Nation, and our good friend. Rev, thanks so much for joining me. Where do you land in this debate? Do you think there's cause for concern from Democrats? I mean, it seems to me you would agree with Senator Warnock for the most part.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Senator Warnock. I think that we're not a monolith, but I think that the more we talk and deal with the issues and the record, that you begin to see whatever small amount of black men are being polled to lean Trump's way begins to dissipate. You must remember the thing that a lot of people are forgetting about this, Alex, is that Donald Trump has a record of being president for 4 years. He was president when George Floyd was killed, and it was videotaped. He was president when Breonna Taylor was killed, and it had evidence. He was president when Ahmaud Arbery. He did nothing about any of them. And when you present that to young black men, and you present his record going back to calling for the death penalty on the Central Park Five, who were exonerated, and he still wouldn't take it back. And you compare that to Kamala Harris, who was part of the last 3 years, almost 4 years, that lowered black unemployment, that fought and got a huge amount of money for HBCUs, much more than what Donald Trump did. And when you deal with the fact that voting rights, affirmative action, DEI, all were devastated by the Trump Supreme Court, black young men start saying they were not aware of that. I've been on a nonpartisan bus tour in various cities with Central Park Five. When you have young black men said he wanted to kill me for something I didn't do or have me killed, never stood up in another case in New York that had racial overtones, they begin to get the facts. So I think that the more the facts out there, the more you're going to see in the next 3 weeks, even that small percentage change.
I mean, it sounds to me like this is a messaging thing, because if Kamala Harris's campaign is listening to you right now, they're going to want to bottle up everything you just said and somehow package it and get it out there. So is it just messaging, this lack of awareness, you think, among certain facets of the black male community, the youth particularly?
I think that it is messaging, and I think it is messengers. I think that even some older can say the facts, because the facts speak for themselves. I think it's been a lack of getting the right message out to young blacks, and I think, or young people, period, but particularly young blacks in this conversation, and messengers that they know and trust, that are not just there election time, but that they know they're there and in their interest all of the time. Who on the other side does Donald Trump have out talking to young blacks? J.D. Vance? I mean, let's be serious. So I think that when you contrast the two, then you get the results that, in my opinion, overwhelmingly leans toward Kamala Harris. I think that when you operate in a vacuum, people can be persuaded with ads and misinformation. But misinformation campaigns die when you get the right information out there.
So Kamala Harris being in Greenville, going and speaking to church crowds, something you do every week, the souls to the polls, is that going to be a real positive? Can that make a big difference for her?
I think it can. You must remember doing the town hall and with young blacks is going to be impactful, I believe. But going to churches and dealing with other entities in the black community, because remember, the prime voters in the black community are churchgoers, are people that are members of Divine Nine. And they are the parents of young black voters that young black voters live with, who come home and say to them, these are the facts. And once they have the facts, there are no counterfacts that Donald Trump they could present that demonstrates any commitment to young blacks. What was his slogan? What do you have to lose if I become president? He said this in 16. Well, we did lose. We lost affirmative action. We lost a lot of our voting rights. We saw record black unemployment. So if he didn't have those 4 years as president, he could sell a dream. but he cannot change the reality of what his presidency did.
Let me ask you quickly, Charlemagne the God, how positive will his influence be when Kamala Harris sits down and talks with him?
I don't know that it's about his influence being positive. He has a lot of influence. I think that he will probably have a conversation and let people make the decisions all to themselves. And I think there'll be others out there. Magic Johnson has been out there, who many of them look up. He's not a youth, but a lot of young people look up to him. And the list goes on. I again say, who has Donald Trump put out there other than J.D. Vance? Not a good ambassador to the black community.
Point well taken. Something tells me, my friend, you're right outside of 30 Rock, and I think you're going to have to go in and get started on work. So thank you very much for joining me.
On my
Good
way.
to see you, Reverend. Thank you. And all of you, make sure to watch The Rev on Politics Nation today and every Saturday and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern, right here on MSNBC.